So I thought a cat joke was appropriate today.
Of course you did.
Yeah. Pussies are like gyms. I'm rarely
For
inside.
fuck's
Uh,
sake.
pussies are like gyms. I'm rarely inside one, and whenever I am, I pretend to know what I'm doing before finishing prematurely and hoping no one notices.
Oh, dude. Why would you do that?
It's a cat. It's a cat joke.
My Dixie Rex.
Guess we're ready for the show then. The writing is atrocious. Not a single joke come even close to remotely landing or being funny.
Get a little bit of gasoline. I'ma make it burn. I'ma make it burn. I'ma make it burn. I'ma make it burn.
I don't know why, but that is extremely interesting to me. I'm into that kind of thing.
Get to the chopper. Sorry.
I feel like we're so spoiled by the internet these days.
Thankfully, this does wrap up quite quickly.
Step back. You're going to fuck up in a minute.
I'm gonna set your place on fire. Let's get higher.
How do you know about these people? And what the fuck is this pattern?
This effect made me want to die.
This couldn't make its mind up on what it wanted to be.
Get a little bit of gasoline. I'ma make it burn. I'ma make it burn. Let's go. I'ma make it burn. I'ma make it burn.
Hello and welcome to the You Run Podcast Horror Movie Review. My name is Scott.
My name is Mark.
And we are an interactive horror movie review show covering new releases and older horror movies. If this is the first time you're listening, we give you a full run through of the movie, sharing our opinions as we go. We dive into some facts, listeners' thoughts before giving you our scores. We also have regular guests, play some games, do some quizzes, and we haven't done any of those three things for fucking ages. So, so I have added a game to this episode for Mark to play later, and it's a new game too.
Nice.
Yeah. Here at the You Run Podcast, we like to give you as much control as we can, so you can get in touch with us in a couple of ways. One is sending us an email, yourunpodcast@gmail.com, or by recording us a voice note DM on Instagram or a TikTok with no music, and we'll read or play whatever we get on the air. As a bonus, if you send us an email, Mark reads it in his incredibly racist Southern accent.
I'm going to switch it up for next time, I think. No, I'm doing that thing where I've had a few beers now and I'm like,
yeah, no.
Making ludicrous.
Yeah, what are we getting next? What other accents could you do?
I don't know. We'll make a roulette wheel. Can we do roulette wheels on like Instagram stories and stuff? Let's just put like a load of accents on it and then we'll spin it. And if we get an email, I'll do one of the accents, or I'll at least attempt to.
I will.
I do this to myself every time?
I will make a wheel. If we get one, I'll go live. I'll spin it live.
Is that much of a thing now?
I think it is. We also try to give back and shout at anyone who gets involved in the show. And Mark scours the depths of Instagram to bring us a single account each week that he feels worthy of all of us going and following in a feature that Mark called
Recommended Account of the Week.
Don't do it. Don't do the dance. Don't do the dance.
Da, 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 da.
So this week's recommended account is paper_pepper. This is a really, really unique account, and I don't know how many of you this is going to appeal to, but I was mesmerized by it when I first encountered it the other day. One of the videos that really caught my eye was it. I'll try and give some context the best I can, but as you know, I'm not always the best person to sell these accounts each week, even though this is my feature. It starts off with a zombie on a sketch drawing on a paper. And
Okay.
then, like, the artist who makes these reels then
Animates it.
not necessarily animates it, but like cleans the teeth with a paper toothbrush and then replaces the teeth with like clean teeth, and then like it'll sew up all like the scars and the bite marks, and then it'll like clean the eyeballs, and then it'll give it like hair implants, and it sounds absolutely dog shit.
It sounds bonkers. I like the sound of it.
But this is one of the most unique accounts I have encountered in quite some time. It really, really is mesmerizing to watch. Very, very talented artist. Whoever it is who's behind this account, bravo to you. it's incredible. Like one of them features like a teenage boy with like loads of acne and glasses and braces and messy hair, and then
And Philip
it's
Schofield
just a
comes in
sketch.
and
Stop with the Schofield stuff. But then they'll like clean up his acne and put like face masks on him, and then they'll like cut his hair, and like it's done in like a stop motion animation way with like sketch animation drawing.
yeah,
But it's really, really clever, and it's so simple in premise, but it's just mesmerizing to watch. So I think a lot of you will get enjoyment out of it, but at the same time, a lot of you will probably look at this and be like, this is fucking stupid. I would love to know the majority consensus on this. I'd like to know what you all think. I'll maybe put a poll up when this comes out to see
it
who
sounds cool
checks
to
it out.
me. Yeah,
It's really, really cool. Really, really clever. And that is paper_pepper. Check it out. I'll put up a post. Scott will put up a post with a poll where you can check and let us know what you've thought to this account this week, because I'm curious to know how much of you actually enjoyed it and how much of you actually thought this is wild.
yeah, and do go and follow. Go and have a look. We don't make you follow accounts. If you go and have a look and go, it's not for me, don't follow it. But if you look at it and go, that's great, then go follow it. It's that simple.
I mean, they've got nigh on nearly 700,000 followers, so they don't need the promotion from us. So people obviously like this account. It's just one of those ones which just randomly came within my ether, and I thought, oh, that's cool. I wonder if everybody else would like that as much as I do.
Yeah, I'll go check it out. I'll put one of their animations on, and we'll just put a "Do you like this? Yes or no."
Yeah, do that.
Yeah, let's do that.
Do the zombie one. That's what got my attention.
I'll do the zombie one. Today we're diving into a movie that proves all cats are evil, that neighbours should not be trusted, and that some wives are just bitches from the start. It also provides nightmare fuel for any parent and some of the best practical effects from its time that it was released. It's time to head to 1989 and go and visit the Pet Cemetery.
I don't want to be buried in a pet cemetery. Are we doing that?
That's definitely staying in.
What is this place?
I brought you here to bury Alan's cat.
Daddy, is church all right?
Why, Judd?
I had my reasons.
I dreamed he got hit by a car and you and Mr. Crandall buried him in the pet cemetery.
What did we do tonight, Judd?
What we did, Lois, was a secret.
May the Lord bless you and keep you.
Has anyone ever buried a person up there?
May the Lord make his face to shine upon you.
You're thinking thoughts best not thought of.
Daddy's gonna do something really bad.
You're thinking of putting him up there. Don't deny the thought hadn't crossed your mind.
Come back to me, Gage. Come back to us.
Paramount Pictures presents Stephen King's all-time best-selling tale of horror. Pet Cemetery.
We give spoiler warnings on any movies that are over 10 years old, as someone complained that we spoiled, what was it, Friday the 13th Part 2 once, so now we do it as a thing that we're spoiling a movie from the 80s if you've not seen it. Here's your spoiler warning.
We don't get enough Friday the 13th films on this show.
They never win a poll.
Why?
I don't know. No.
That's a shame. Come on,
It
guys,
is.
sort yourself out.
Yeah. Anyway, here is your spoiler warning.
You talking about spoilers, and I'm like, look, quit giving a disclaimer. Let me tell you something. This is for all of America and UK and everywhere. First of all, you can read the fucking episode title and be like, I've never seen this. Don't fucking listen to it then. Lost Boys came out before Jesus was born. Like, if y'all haven't seen it, that's not anybody's problem. Don't listen to the damn episode yet.
Like I said earlier, we like to get listeners involved as much as we can. And the first thing they do is they offer their scores. The listeners have scored this at a 9 out of 10. IMDb rocked in at a 6.5 out of 10. Amazon Prime has been booted off the show and replaced by a much more reputable source. So we now got the letterboxed average score, and this gets a 3.2 out of 5. So
Ooh, that's a bold move. Why have Amazon been booted?
Fuck Amazon.
I know, but they give me stuff the next day.
They do, and you pay for that.
I know, but It's nice to have it the next day.
Yeah, I thought Letterboxd, because Letterboxd is just real people. It's not just someone...
it's more of a community thing, isn't it? People
Yeah,
seem to be going towards it these days.
It's not some random bloke who's not seen the movie at Amazon going, that's a 4.7, which I've noticed that I saw a movie, and I can't remember what movie it was, and it had like a 4.9 out of 5, and it's like a 1 at best. And I was like, no, you're gone. Goodbye.
What was that, Jaws?
Fuck you. So from the sites, they're kind of average scores, and the listeners have scored this really, really high. You get our scores after our review, and we'll kind of bring some balance to the force, maybe. We open in a pet cemetery, funnily enough. We get a look at various wooden crosses, and we hear kids talking about their parents that have died in the background. One of the tombstones read, "Biffa, Biffa, what an incredible sniffer," and I laughed my arse off. Set design of the cemetery is great.
Really, really cool. I like the cinematography as well, where it pans through, like almost like droney, kind of the way that it focuses through the cemetery before coming up and picking up on the actual thing. Why is it spelt differently?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure, and I'll be honest, I didn't put enough research in to find out.
But there must be a reason why Stephen King decided to...
There is a reason Stephen King spelt that with an S, and it came in a big bag, and it's white powder, and he shoveled it in his nose at high velocity when this book was written and this movie was released.
I bet he was one of the coolest guys ever to hang around with in his heyday when he was doing mass amounts of cocaine.
Huge amounts. We'll come to that. Our game may be Stephen King cocaine related.
Excellent.
We cut away and we see a nightmare. We see a family pull into their driveway. We meet a couple, Lewis and Rachel, and their 2 young children, Gage and Ellie. It's here that I knew the wife was high maintenance. She gets out of the car and she gives like a disapproving look of the house before saying thank you for a beautiful home. I'm going to be bitching on this woman all the way through. I have a strong dislike for this character, and I know I'm not meant to.
No, I'm with you on that. I completely agree.
Yeah,
the decision he makes at the end is ludicrous to me.
Yeah, it should.
I would be bringing back Judd.
I would just leave them all. Their daughter Ellie is playing on a tyre swing, and they get their toddler Gage out of the car. Ellie says she can see a path from the rope swing, and this is as it breaks. Now, I am by no means parent of the year, but Rachel and Lewis run to their daughter's side, who's wailing like she's broken a hip and she's landed on her ass. And they leave Gage, who must be 3, unattended by a car about 5 meters from a fucking main road that you've just seen a truck hurtle down.
Yeah, you see, you get this scene, and it always, every time I watch it play out, I always think to myself, right, I'm a parent, but I only have one child. So, like, that is my be-all and end-all. I love that child unconditionally, but I've always heard stories where people are like, yeah, you don't necessarily give too much of a shit about the second one. They're just kind of there and fend for themselves kind of thing.
Yeah, no.
Is that the case? Because this is the impression I'm getting from this film. It's like they've really hammered home that people don't give a shit about their second kid.
Yeah, no, that's not true. I have multiple children. I have lots of children, and like
you have a bus full, don't you?
I do. Like if we go out and we've got the 2 younger ones with us, it's kind of one goes with one parent, one goes with the other parent, and where one child goes, that parent follows. And if that separates the 2 parents, that's just how it goes. You don't just go, oh, do you know what? Fuck you, second child. You go off over there. If you don't want to stay with the herd, it's your own problem.
Well, that's kind of the way that they play it out in this film a lot.
They do. Gage wanders off, and we get a look at the cat in the back of the car, who we later find out is called Church. And we then get that Gage wanders into the road in front of a truck. Thankfully, their neighbour Judd picks Gage up and saves him from death.
Good old Herman Munster to the rescue.
Yeah, and he says the road is really dangerous. Judd makes introductions, and they ask him about the path. I love Judd. He's like, there's a story about that path, and once you're all settled in, I'll tell you about it. I might even take you up there someday. It's like, fucking, who are you? Go away.
I love him. He seems like the most nicest guy on the planet. Like, I would love to just sit and have a beer with him on his porch and listen to everything he had to tell me.
Okay, now I'm going to read my next bit in my notes. I find this character super creepy. He would not be anywhere near my kids. He's the pervy old farmer vibe, and there's something just off about him.
I'm waiting for the Philip Schofield line.
No, there's not, but he's just, I don't know. I know in reality, really nice guy. In this movie, I just find him odd and a bit creepy.
And just to clarify as well, at this point, Philip Schofield is heavily in the media for being a bad man.
Yeah, if you're not in the UK,
he's a good guy in the next couple of weeks, and we sincerely apologise, Mr. Schofield.
Fucking speak for yourself. I regret nothing. When all the kids are tucked up in their bed, Lewis explores the garden for a bit. The rope swing is magically fixed. Did you notice that?
No, I didn't.
The tyre swing is like swinging next to him. Don't know who fixed it, but it is.
Probably Judd. He's a very talented man.
Church jumps out of a tree and scares him, hissing at him. The cat is an arsehole before what happens to it shortly. I'm saying it now. This cat is a horrible cat from start to finish. Nothing changed when this went in the pet cemetery. This cat's been a bastard from day one.
But all cats are bastards, are we not?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm there. I'm a dog.
And I'm sorry, cat ladies out there. I know
cat ladies? They're not going to be cat men as well? That's very sexist of you.
Do you know what? In terms of like sexism and all the rest of it, no, I don't think there is many cat men out there. I think this is a female-led army, one that will one day take over the world, I'm sure.
I reckon at least maybe next week or the week after we'll take over this podcast with the amount of calls we're going to get.
But all you female-led female. I can't even do it. I'm sorry. Let's move on.
Let's keep going. Shortly after this, Lewis spots Judd across the road drinking a beer, so goes and joins him. Judd warns him against the road being dangerous again and said those trucks have been up and down here for years, and that's the reason there's a path there. The path at the bottom of your garden leads to the pet cemetery. They don't waste any time in this movie. They're like straight away. They're like bang, 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 in. Let's go.
Yeah, I appreciate it for that as well.
Yeah, it's a shame they don't continue that throughout the movie, but at the start they are like, let's go, let's get it on.
Exposition building wise, it's very, very quick.
Yeah. The next morning we meet Missy, who's doing their laundry. She's a very depressed lady and she makes me very sad. She's talking to Rachel saying that she wished she had a doctor like Lewis who would help her with her stomach pain, but she knows she'll never be that lucky. This poor girl kind of pours her heart out and Rachel's like, okay, all right, bye. You're back tomorrow.
Rachel's a bitch, man.
She's horrible. I hate her.
I'm not a fan.
I hate her. I've somewhere in my notes. I have a reason for it, and I will come back. I will get to it at some point. We now cut to what is described as a field trip in my head. Creepy Judd leads the family through the woods to the pet cemetery. He cracks me up when they arrive. He stands under a 4-foot wide sign that says pet cemetery and goes, "Yeah, this will be the place." I laugh every time. Every single time. Ellie asks her mum what it says, and she says it says pet cemetery, but it's spelt wrong. And I was like, why highlight is spelt wrong? Your daughter can't read. She's 9. She should be able to read by now.
Yeah, and do you know what, man? I'm a bit dyslexic, I think, because it's not until my adult life that I've realised that this was spelt wrong.
They go in and start to explore, and Judd is saying that it's a good thing. And this is where Rachel goes full bitch mode, and she's like, how is it a good thing? It's a horrible place built on the broken hearts of children. After her rant, there is a brief moment where Judd looks at Lewis as if to say, shit, you put up with that all the time. And Lewis does like this little kind of, yeah, that's my life nod. This is hilarious to me because one of my ex-wives was very, very much like Rachel. And I know...
Which one?
I'm not going that way, just in case.
Just a number, because it's like a vague thing with you these days. It's like...
It's not very nice. We'll keep going. But I have had people give me that exact look that Judd gives. And I have done the exact motion that Lewis does, kind of like, yeah, I know.
But I've signed on to this, so I'm kind of here with it.
Yeah, I've bought into this now. This is my life. Thanks for pointing out how bad it is. Judd shows them the grave of his dog Spot, and he explains to Ellie it's a place where the dead speak through their grave markers. Over in the corner of the cemetery, there's... How would you describe this bush? It's like a big, viney thing.
Yeah, it's like one of those things, if you've ever played the God of War games, where you have to upgrade your weapons to a serious level to be able to break through it. It's like, oh, you can't get through here right now. Please come back later.
Yeah, it's like that. And the only thing it is missing is a neon sign that says evil lives here. It's really obvious what it is. We get bedtime and we get the stalling conversation that every parent has experienced, where Ellie's like, what happens if church dies? This happens to all parents, and we go, no, it will be fine. Come on, let's go to bed. The what and the why. Do you get that at bedtime?
No, we haven't encountered that yet, but I know it's coming soon. My beloved beagle, Marnie, is 14 years old now, and she is getting very, very old and haggard. I mean, I remember having the conversation with you when I first came on the show about how old she was. I think we did an episode where she was just snoring in the background
That was
for the majority of it.
That was your first one. That was Halloween.
Yeah, and she's just there snoring away in the background. I'm like, oh, just ignore her. She's old as shit. She's still here. She's still live and kicking nearly a year later. I think she's actually outlived her life expectancy.
Also, that was 3 years ago, that first episode that you done.
Wow.
I know, 2020.
Fuck, you know.
She's going to outlive you. I'm calling it now.
By the sounds of it, she will. And the thing is as well, like my daughter is now coming up to 3 in August. She is so attached, like so attached. But she's at an age now where she doesn't quite understand the concepts of, like, I've lost my dad and my wife has also lost her dad. So she doesn't actually have a grandparent. Well, she does. She has a grandma and a nana.
Yeah.
But she doesn't have an actual granddad or grandpa or whatever you want to call them. So, like, that's already a really difficult conversation to try and express to a 2.5-year-old.
Yeah.
But the level of commitment and love that she has for our dog, and already I know it's like, God, like I'm expecting that kind of phone call one day at work where it's like, Marnie's, my dog's called Marnie, by the way. Marnie's really not very well. You need to come home. We need to take her to the vets. And then I'm going to have to explain to a 2.5-year-old. And I'm just dreading it. Do you know what I mean? Like I am just every day. I'm like, please, not today.
Yeah, we had to do it because our dog passed away when we were on holiday this year. Last year.
She recently had to do that. How did Ocean deal with that?
Kids are really resilient. It was kind of there was tears and she was very upset, but then like 3 hours later, like nothing had happened. It's like she's too young to process that properly. It's like, oh, I'm upset, he's gone now. And now it's like almost like he didn't exist. And every now and then she would like, oh, I liked Alfie. I remember Alfie.
How did you deal with that? Did you say Alfie's brown bread, or did you?
We went down the heaven route because heaven for young children is a nice place to explain whether all dogs go to heaven.
Anti-Christian and anti.
Yes, so am I. But all dogs go to heaven, and that works well with young children.
Right. So should I just swallow my pride and just take on board that's the route I need to go with this?
I would probably go with all dogs go to heaven instead of all dogs are worm food. Is probably your better option of the two.
Yeah. She's gone now. There is nothing else left. That's it. Goodbye.
Yeah, don't go that route. You were causing thousands of pounds worth of therapy in her teens if you do that. Anyway, Lewis is a really good parent, unlike me and Mark, who don't know what we're doing. And he handles it really well, saying that, look, if I had my way, church would live to 100, but I don't make the rules. And Ellie is like, oh, God can get his own fucking cat. This is my cat. Leave my cat. Yeah, leave my cat alone, God. Get your own cat. The next morning, Church has an appointment to get his nuts cut. And that's how Ellie refers to it, and I chuckle every time. Lewis says Church will be fine, and Ellie says, you promise? Now, Lewis pauses because, like you and me, he's not into telling lies to his children. No. And Rachel wades in with, don't shilly-shally. give your girl a promise. It's like, why would you do that? Why would you even do that?
So in theory, really, the whole events of this film is Rachel's fault.
Yes.
What a bitch.
Yeah, exactly. Reluctantly, Lewis promises that everything will be okay before he's about to head off to work. He does turn around to Rachel and go, if anything happens to that cat, you're explaining it. Oh, good for you.
That would be my go with Joe card as well.
You tell her. Outside, he bumps into Missy and he asks after her stomach pain. She's like, oh, it's really bad, but it always is. But it'll pass. It'll be fine. And it's at this point that Rachel comes out the door because her man's talking to another woman and she has to come out and assert dominance and send Missy in and give him a kiss goodbye. Yeah, I need to stop hating on her because otherwise this is just going to be the I Hate Rachel episode.
No, I get it. Continue. It makes perfect sense. She's not nice.
First day at his new job, being the doctor, is not a good day for him.
No.
Really not. They bring it, the people of the town bring in a guy who's been hit by a truck. Practical effects. This looks so good and so real.
And the thing is as well, like, it's so unnecessarily gory.
Yeah.
Like, unnecessarily. Like, you see his brain falling out of his skull as like the student. And the thing is as well, like, you have the students who are obviously his friends and are going to school with this guy. It's not like he's been brought up the staircase into the hospital by paramedics. It's like his friends are carrying him up the stairs, which makes the scene feel almost more heartfelt and real. Like, it's really, really difficult to sit through.
Yeah, it's panic inducing. It's like, fuck, get him in there, get him treated, get him sorted out.
His brains are on the floor, so it's not like get him treated. It's more a case of, fuck, man, like, you're actually having, I think because of the severe injuries that he's dealing with as well, when you see that it's his friends trying to carry him and get him help, it's like, oh, he's already gone. He's already long gone, and like, you're in a very serious state of denial, and I feel ultra bad for you right now.
Yeah, and like, he does die, and Lewis kind of has and he looks at his watch and he's about to do like a time of death moment, and the man wakes up and says, the soil of a man's heart is stonier, Lewis. And Lewis is like, how the fuck do you know my name? What is going on?
What is going on?
Stephen King taking cocaine. That's what's going on.
Because I have a lot of questions that relate to this particular thing throughout. And
every single one is answered by Stephen King and cocaine.
Right. I'm still going to address it anyway, because is he a ghost? He's a ghost, right?
Not at this point. He's like crossing over.
Is he a vision of Lewis's, or is he a ghost, or is he some sort of...
At this point now, he's a person, and he's crossing over, and he's getting like almost like ghost powers. So he's understanding more of the world around him, is how it's written in the book. So he's gaining that consciousness that a ghost would have, that insight that a ghost would have that a human wouldn't.
Right.
And this is where he tells Lewis that I will visit you.
Okay, I'll touch upon this more later when we get to it.
Yeah. So he says that he'll come and visit Lewis. He actually dies now. I'm going to say the acting in this movie is questionable at best.
Yeah, but...
It fits the tone, but it is very questionable.
Who do you have issues with?
Lewis, Rachel, Judd.
I don't have issues with Judd, and I don't necessarily have issues with Lewis. I think he's all right.
Rachel is wooden as fuck.
Rachel is bad, really bad. And I think the daughter is pretty bad as well.
Gage, awesome.
Brilliant.
But best actor in it. And
yeah,
I know all of his dialogue is dubbed in, but he's great.
And the guy who gets hit by the truck, very good.
Yeah. I think is it Harrow? I can't remember.
Paros or something, his last name. I can't remember his first name.
Something like that. Someone's mentioned it in
you see it on the medical file notes, don't you? I can't remember his actual name.
Yeah, also, he throws the medical file in the bin. I was like, you don't do that when a patient dies.
Yeah, I thought that as well. I was like, surely that needs to go to some sort of records.
Yeah, that goes into deceased file, not in the bin.
Yeah.
We cut to Lewis in bed as the ghost of the guy who died earlier wakes him up, saying, we've got places to go. Would you get... I don't know why I'm asking. Would you get out of bed and follow the ghost?
Yeah, man, fuck yeah.
Yeah, so
I'm off to Never Neverland.
Yeah, so Lewis follows the ghost, And he's like, I'm trying to help you because you helped me. He follows the man to the pet cemetery, and he's convinced he's dreaming. This is shot very much in a dream sequence. This is a Nightmare on Elm Street through and through. The fog, the fact it's lit in the blue lighting, this is a dream sequence from Nightmare on Elm Street. That's the only way to describe it. At the pet cemetery, the man says, this is the place where the dead speak, and basically says, don't go over near those bushes. You see those bushes over there? Do not go there. That place, the ground is sour. But, okay, that's pretty clear. The instructions are very vivid from a ghost. Lewis wakes up from his dream and pulls over the covers. Dun, dun, dun. It's all gone very Wes Craven.
Yeah. But I'm on board. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I like it, but all I see is Nightmare on Elm Street.
I didn't necessarily pick up on that, but again, I'm not a Nightmare fan, so I get why you're going in that direction with it, I suppose.
Yeah, it's almost Thanksgiving, and Rachel is taking a trip to visit her parents with her kids. Lewis has the house to himself. He's not going, which means he's got movies, beer, and masturbation on the cards, which is what we all do when we're left alone for long periods of time. I know we'll all deny it, but it's the facts. Lewis isn't going because he's not welcomed by Rachel's father, who's also a massive dick. I hate that guy.
Oh, what an asshole.
Yeah, I think what he does later, I would be in handcuffs for murder.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, good. I'm glad we're on the same page.
Yeah, definitely.
It's rare we're on the same page. This is like a unique one-off episode.
We'll frame it. We'll print it out and we'll frame it after this.
Yeah. Anyway, we go to the next shot and we get Lewis answering the phone with a beer in his hand, proving what I just said. He's done the masturbation in the movie and he's got beer. The call is from Judd, and it's to say that Church has been run over and is dead on his lawn. Now, Lewis is happy to bury the cat and tell Ellie when she gets home that her cat's died. But Judd has an idea.
I don't get why Judd offers this as a solution, considering how adamant he is not to go near the pet cemetery.
I don't know why he offers it as a solution, especially when we get flashback scenes later. It's like, why?
Yeah.
At what point did you go, what a really good idea? I'll tell you what
You
we'll
spent
do.
the first 20 minutes of this film telling us not to go beyond the bushes.
Yeah.
But now you're offering it as a solution. And granted, his reasoning behind why he does is justifiable. He doesn't want to break the young girl's little heart. But he knows what's beyond the bushes and what happens when you do this. Yet he still encourages Lewis to do it.
Yeah, and Lewis, like Mark, follows him without any question whatsoever.
Yeah, I am 100% Lewis in this film.
Yeah, like they get to the clearing, which is like the proper pet cemetery, which is over the bushes. But it's not just over the bushes. They're scaling cliffs. They're traversing mountains. This is like you could die on the way to this pet cemetery.
It's not worth it for a cat.
No, it's not. We're getting so many calls. They bury the cat, and Lewis asked Judd why he done it, why he asked him to bury him there. And Judd goes, well, sometimes a man just has his reasons. And Lewis is like, okay, cool. No, it's not cool. Ask him why. Get the answer.
Why?
Yeah. We have a quick call between Lewis and his daughter Ellie where she asks after church, and he goes all weird and silent when Gage gets on the phone, but he does lie to his daughter very convincingly, go, yeah, he's fine. I've just kind of not seen him.
Yeah.
He buried the cat, and there is no reason of like the amount of. So when Gage gets on the phone, he just goes like mute and just stares into space. It's a cat. There is no reason for this level of trauma on his face. This is one of the things that bugs me.
But it's the same cat.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
He's just buried this cat.
Yeah.
Like he's just buried it underground. He knows it's dead. It's been hit by a truck.
Mm.
Like I would be having the same dumbfounded, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Look on my face. It's not like it's. But you can't. No, that's not justifiable. You can't say that and be like, "Oh, I don't get why he's so surprised that this cat's come back to life."
He gets in the garage and basically Church jumps out at him, proving again that he's an arsehole. And Lewis is shocked, and I kind of get why he's shocked. All right, I concede on that. I understand.
Say, like, what are you going with that?
He picks up the cat, and the cat scratches his face and has a real good go at him as well. Funnily enough, Lewis does what I would do and goes to Judd's house to like, what the fuck? My cat is back from the dead. And this is where we get a little bit of the history of Judd took his dog Spot there, and then Spot come back to life, and Spot was really nasty and evil. And then Spot died in his sleep, and Judd buried him in the nice bit of the pet cemetery where he took them earlier afterwards.
Yeah, and this is something that always plays upon my mind is, so the dog died of its own accord 5 days later.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't want to jump the gun with this film, but obviously we know. Do you know what? No, I'll wait because it's part of my whole thing.
Okay.
I have a whole thing.
My issue with this is Judd knew what this place done. It done it to his dog, yet he still suggested it for the cat. And he says that he didn't want Ellie to be upset losing her first pet, but surely that's better than giving her a murderous cat in its place.
Yeah. Yeah.
For some unknown reason, Lewis accepts all of this, and the only question he's got is, has anyone buried a person up there? And Judd's like...
I would ask the same question, I think.
Would you?
Yeah, the first thing I'd think of is like, okay, so if that works, then would it work if you did this?
Okay, see, I wouldn't. And Judd's response is like, no, why would you even ask such a stupid question, Lewis?
Yeah, he spills his beer in such shock.
Yeah. We see Lewis get a bath and relax until Church drops a rat in the bath. What an arsehole. Lewis kicks the cat out of the bathroom, and it's clear that he's ruined what was a perfect masturbation opportunity.
Yep.
Yeah, I like
the bath.
No, after the bath, before the bath, maybe. I don't know. Not in the bath, because then you're in there with it.
There's a lot of talk of masturbation in this episode. It's a bit weird.
There is. Should we stop the beating off chat?
Yeah, I think we need to dial it back a little bit.
I'll rein it in. I think that's the last point. It's in my notes. Rachel and the kids return from their trip, and Ellie says she had a terrible dream where Church was hit by a truck, and then Judd and her dad buried him in the pet cemetery. And the dad's like, "No, what a silly thing." We get some family time where Ellie asks if cats can be cleaned because Church stinks. I love these little things like the cat is dead and it is decaying. It stinks. Can I bath it?
Yeah.
And the mum is like,
Lewis is like, oh, I'll pay for it.
Yeah, he's like, I'll pay for it because I brought the cat back from the dead. And the mum's like, oh, you need to take the cat to a groomer. I think that costs a lot of money, so I'm not paying for that.
Bitch.
Yeah. We cut from this to the cheerful scene of Missy writing her suicide note. This is hard to watch. I mean, she's a really sad character from the start. We see her write her suicide note that she then goes down to the basement where she hangs herself.
Why did she do this?
Because she's in constant pain.
With her stomach bug?
Yeah, with her stomach.
Right.
It's not nice.
I mean,
it's really not nice. And I think this is Stephen King digging at the healthcare system in the United States.
Right, okay.
Because if you haven't got the money, you're not getting treated for your stomach pain, you suffer. No insurance, no cash.
It just seemed like such a jarring thing for me to comprehend. I didn't understand the relevance of it or why or...
I think that's what it is, because with no medical insurance in the United States and no money, you can't get anything.
But then it never comes back around.
No, cocaine.
Weird.
Yeah, it's Stephen King on cocaine. That's what it is.
But even then, like, which house is she in right now?
She's in her house, wherever that is, somewhere across town.
Right, because we see the corpse fall through the trap hatch later on, who's hung herself, but that's in Judd's house. So it's like, who is that?
I don't know.
See what I mean? Like,
yeah, I get what you're saying. We cut to the funeral. Did you spot the cameo here?
No, I'm really annoyed that this is becoming a regular thing now.
You didn't spot the cameo here?
At the funeral?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. It was
Yeah.
Stephen King being the vicar.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry, I was thinking of the other funeral scene later on.
No. This funeral, Stephen King is the priest.
The priest, yeah.
Without a doubt, the best cameo King has ever given in a movie ever.
I don't know. He's pretty cool in Creepshow.
He is, but I love this. And this was put in there with him as a priest for a specific reason. At the time, he was coming under fire from lots of Christian and Catholic churches for being associated with writing demonic works of fiction.
Oh, really?
So his response to that was to have a cameo as a priest. Let's stoke that fire a little bit more. Come on, church people.
Good old Stephen King.
Yeah. After the funeral, we get a bit of an explanation as to why Rachel is a bitch. Ellie asks if Missy went to heaven. And I think the dad handles this great. He's like, look, everyone believes different things. Some people believe you pass over and you go to heaven. Other people believe you get reincarnated as someone else. Some people think that's just the end, like a candle going out. And Rachel's kind of lingering in the kitchen and listening. And she says she hates that kind of talk after Ellie's gone to bed. She's like, it reminds me, and it reminds me of my sister Zelda. And we get a flashback to her childhood where her sister Zelda, who looks great, by the way, those practical effects on Zelda are awesome.
Amazing, yeah. Really, really good.
And she had, was it spinal meningitis? And
That's correct, yeah.
She needed to feed her and she hated it and she wished that she was dead, not so she wouldn't suffer anymore, but so Rachel wouldn't suffer anymore. Very selfish thing. She then goes on and says that one night her parents went out and Zelda died. And she ran out into the street and all the neighbours thought she was crying, but actually she was laughing.
Lewis's response to this is perfect.
Yeah, he's like, oh, well, I know that was really sad. Maybe you should take a Xanax.
No, I'll get you a Valium.
Oh, is it a Valium?
Yeah. It's like, I need to bear this in mind for future. So next time me and my wife are having an argument, she's like, oh, you said you were going to load the dishwasher. I'd be like, oh, I know this is a really stressful time for you and you're dealing with a lot right now. Let's just have a Valium. I need a surplus of Valium on hand. It's like, oh, you said you weren't going out with the lads tonight. I was like, I know, but plans have changed. I know what. Why don't you just have a Valium? And I will see you tomorrow.
So your plan is to keep your wife permanently stoned?
Apparently it's acceptable. So
it was acceptable in the 80s. I'm sure that's a song. Happy times next as we get family picnics. Judd and the family all go for a picnic right by the side of the road. We get to see Gage fly a kite, which, fun fact, is something I've never done in my entire life.
You've never flown a kite?
No, it's on my bucket list to do.
Oh, mate, come to my house. I have an actual sports kite, which is awesome, by the way. It does loop the loops and shit.
Why does that not surprise me that you have a sports kite?
Yeah, but the thing is, like, it wasn't one of those things where I was like, oh, I'm going to buy a sports kite. My daughter was like, oh, Daddy, I want a kite. I was like, yeah, I'll get you a fucking kite. I bought the best kite I could buy.
You buy
and now I'm into kites.
Excellent. I don't want to be the person who points this out to you, but are you aware you have an addictive personality?
Oh, yeah. I'm very, very aware of my problems.
Okay, that's fine. Lewis is distracted by Rachel and Ellie, saying it's their turn with the kite. And Gage heads into the road in front of a truck. I'm going to say something now that may be controversial. Lewis makes a piss-poor effort as a dad to save his child, and Gage goes splat.
Yeah.
There is no way.
Valiant, is it?
There is no way in the world I would have fallen over how he falls over.
No.
It's like, I'm not going to reach you. Oh, I tripped.
Yeah, I would have made that.
I would have made that. I would have died, but my son would have survived with some severe bumps and bruises as I literally Spartan kicked him across the road.
Yeah, go fucking full dropkick mode.
Yeah.
Go Stone Cold Steve Austin on that kid, man. Kick him across the road.
I'm not being funny. If it's that or he gets squished, that's the option I'm taking. If I have to toe punt my child 18 foot across a road to save their life, I'm going to do that. this is the most horrific thing as a parent to watch.
Yeah,
and it genuinely is a cautionary tale of do not let your kids play near a main road. It really is dangerous, and these are real life outcomes that will happen. Back home, Rachel has been sedated with more Valium, and Judd is there to kind of help out, and Lewis is a mess, and he's looking at photos of Gage. Ellie has a photo too, and she's basically said, I'm going to hold on to this until God gives Gage back. It's super sad. It's hard to work. And I didn't think it would get worse, and it does. We cut to the funeral.
Oh, I hate the scene.
I hate this scene. So they're at the funeral, and Rachel's dad is there, and he's screaming and shouting at Lewis, saying that it's all his fault, and he warned Rachel this was going to happen, and he's a child killer, before punching him. They have a bit of a scuffle, and the tiny coffin gets knocked over, and Gage kind of partly falls out. Again, another scene that is nightmare fuel for parents.
Yeah.
Coffins that small.
I couldn't even begin.
No. Coffins that small should not even have to exist. It's just unimaginable to lose a child. I just can't. I can't fathom how much of a mess I would be.
No. It doesn't even bear thinking about, I'll be honest with you.
No, it really doesn't. I've got to ask you a question now. In Lewis's position, would you take Gage to the pet cemetery?
And you know me as a person, and you know what? No, I wouldn't.
See, I don't know if my desire to have my child back would push me to do it. I think there's a 50-50 chance I would.
No, I think I'm too skeptical.
Yeah,
to consider this as an option.
Yeah,
I don't think even like considering the situation and the outcome of what happens. Like, I don't mean after the events. I mean up until this point. I think my mental state wouldn't even be able to comprehend that as an outcome.
No, see, I genuinely don't know, and it's something that on this watch I was really conflicted about, like whether I would or I wouldn't. Lisa was like, "No, I definitely wouldn't," and I was like, oh, "I don't know. I genuinely don't know if there'd be a point where I would get so low that I don't care if you come back as Satan himself. I want you back." I don't know. It's a really hard question to answer. Someone call in. Would you go? Send us an email. There's quite a lot of sad family stuff here, and it's rough to watch. And Judge basically says to Lewis, I know what you're thinking, and you can't do it. Church also attacks Lewis again because he's a horrible cat. I'm skimming lots, and that's because this is very dialogue filled. It's very brutal and hard to watch this section of the movie, but I am going to say I find this section of the movie very dull, and I find it drags.
I agree with you. At the same time, I also kind of disagree with you. I feel like it's very important within the context of the story. But again, it's one of those things where like it's important as a first watch, but as both me and you are strong horror fans, we have seen this film countless times. And on repeat viewings, it kind of comes across as quite tedious on your third, fourth, or fifth watch. Yeah, but I can imagine as somebody who's never seen this film before watching it for the first time, that this sort of segment would be quite pivotal to the story.
Yeah, I get that, but for me, watching it, God knows what time watch I'm on, and I just find it a bit much. I mean, we get a cool flashback, which is really pivotal, which is we get a flashback to a person who was buried in the pet cemetery, and the town, including Judd, had to basically hunt him down and kill him. It serves no real purpose, only to hammer home that whatever gets buried comes back nasty. If you hadn't picked that up already, this is there again to go, this is where this movie's going. It's just foreshadowing what's coming.
Yeah, and this is very fucking Night of the Living Dead-esque kind of scene. This just raises so many questions to me because, again, when we mentioned earlier, Judd's dog died after like 5 days in its sleep. But Churches has been alive for well over a week now. Funerals take at least a week or 2 weeks. So we know that Churches has been around for at least 3 weeks now since his death.
Yeah, and we don't know if Judd actually just offed his dog after 5 days of it being an arsehole.
But that just makes me wonder what would be more in enjoyable as a story? Would it be to find out that, I don't know, it's like, what, again, with the ending just like poses so many questions to me, as opposed to like, so now what?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? What happens after this point? Like, how long? That's the more engaging side of the story to me than this confined narrative. It's like, is this a pandemic? Is this zombie based? It's like, where does this go from here in this terms of this lore and the capabilities of what this cemetery can do?
Yeah, and I think they answer more of that in Pet Sematary 2. I prefer Pet Sematary 2 to this.
What, the film?
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about the same one with John O'Connor and the guy who kills Sean Connery's Highlander.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. The one with the sex scene with the wolf head and that. We're on the same page.
Yeah.
The one where the kid gets killed with the motorbike wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I just wanted to make sure we were talking about the same film.
Yeah, we are. So Rachel goes to stay with Ellie and her parents for a while. And literally, as soon as they're gone, Lewis puts his plan into action of kind of like he wants to go and dig up Gage. That's where he wants to go. We cut away to Ellie, who's crying her eyes out as she's seen the same ghost in her dreams that the dad saw. So this is the guy who died in the crash. She tells her mum about it, and again, Rachel's a real bitch. She's like, "There's no such thing as a ghost. Stop it and go to sleep." It's like she just lost her brother.
Yeah,
cut her a bit of slack. As Rachel leaves the room, she gets an instant bout of karma as she gets the same ghost. She doesn't see him, but she hears him. At this point, Lewis is already digging up Gage. She tries to call Lewis, she can't get hold of him, so she calls Judd, and Judd's like, "No, I haven't seen him. If he comes here, I'll make sure he gives you a call." And Rachel's like, "Don't bother, I'm coming home." We see Lewis dig up Gage's body and give him a cuddle, which is heart-wrenching. Yeah. That scene where he sat next to the grave and he's cuddling his son is just like, horrific. And he's taking him on the long trip to bury him in the pet cemetery. And all the time he's being haunted by the ghost going, "Don't go there. Don't go up there. Don't go up there." Lewis has kind of got in his head that he's going to take him up there. If it works, great. If it doesn't, he's resigned himself to the fact that he will have to put Gage to sleep.
Yeah.
Which, again, just the things this plays with is just horrific.
But I suppose if you have that ability to be able to do one or the other, like he has the medical prowess to be able to do it in a subtle way. Yeah,
I guess it's a calculated risk he's willing to take, I guess.
And I guess you would as a parent, which is something when I said earlier, I was like, I wouldn't do it. But I guess if I had the same sort of skill set that he does, maybe I would consider it more of an option.
Yeah, I don't know. It's really tricky. Rachel is being helped home by the ghost. I like these scenes. They're really odd, but I like them. Like he holds the plane door open for her and then he helps her get a hire car. The woman's like, "No, we haven't got one." And he whispers in the woman's ear, like, "What about the Buick that come back with the scratch on it?" She's like, "Oh, we've got a Buick with a scratch on it." It's great.
Yeah, but again, it just asks so many questions. It's like, what are these and what are the capabilities of these and why have they got so much involvement in this narrative and how are they transferring from him to her? And it's like, I don't know.
Stephen King cocaine. I know I've said it a lot, but that really is it.
Yeah.
It really is it. So Lewis has now buried Gage and he's gone home, waiting for Gage to wake up. Rachel has now crashed her car, women drivers, and decides to hitchhike with a trucker who calls her darling. 100% that lift cost her a hand job.
No.
Do you not think? He was like,
got it in her.
This is true. In my opinion, this is where the movie gets super creepy. So Gage is up and out of the ground. As a child actor to portray terrifying monster child, he knocks it out of the park.
Very, very good.
So he gets up, he walks home, and instead of waking his dad up, he steals his scalpel from his bag. First watch, I thought he was going to kill the dad, but he doesn't. Instead, he nips over to see Judd and plays a really creepy game of hide and seek.
Very, very creepy. This is the best scene in the film. This is the most iconic scene in the film as well.
Yeah. If I was Judd, I'd have just gone over to, because Judd knows who this is.
Yeah.
He calls. I would have gone over to Lewis and gone, your kid is now awake and you need to come and deal with it. I would not have gone upstairs.
No. I'd be like, that fucking little shit is in my house. He has a knife. Take care of it.
Instead, Judd goes looking. Judd goes, like, he looks under the bed where he could hear Gage. And we get Gage slitting his Achilles tendon on the back. Oh, man, this is brutal.
Very good practical effects as well.
Really good. And then Gage stabs him before biting his throat to finish him off. I don't even know how you get a child actor to do that.
No, I don't either. It's very, very good. Very good.
Rachel arrives back and thanks the driver. And this is where the ghost tells her that it's the end of the line for him as well. And basically, he hopes everything goes well. She's about to go into her home where she hears Gage in Judd's house, and she spots Church. She goes in the house and she calls out to Judd. She gets no reply, and she ventures upstairs, where she hallucinates seeing Zelda. But it's not Zelda, it's Gage. And he's dressed in a top hat, complete with a cane. I have no idea why.
I have no idea why either. I'm assuming this is cocaine-based again.
I'm guessing it is. He says he brought her something and shows her the scalpel, and then he brutally murders her off screen.
Yeah, which I'm a bit disappointed by as well. I would have liked to have seen a bit more action on this front, I think.
Yeah, it is a very kind of lazy cutaway. As she screams, we cut to Lewis, who's woken up.
I love the way he falls out of bed.
He falls out of bed and he smashes his head on the bedside table.
Yeah.
The smash of the head was real. That wasn't meant to happen. That was an accident.
Really?
But that was one of those beautiful accidents that they went, that's great. You smashed your face. Amazing. That's staying in.
Yeah, it looks bad.
It's just a very brutal way to wake up. So he notices that there's muddy footprints everywhere. He also notices that the scalpel is gone. He gets a phone call from his father-in-law who says Ellie's had a really bad dream that her mum was dead. And Lewis is like, look, I can't even deal with you now. I can't talk to you now. And he hangs up. He's about to go down into the basement where the phone rings again. And this time it's Gage. And Gage is like, I played with Judd and then I played with Mummy. It's time to play with Daddy next. What comes next, again, is hard to get my head around as a father. Like, what he plans here just boggles my mind. So he basically gets sedatives ready and ventures over to the house. He bumps into Church and baits him with a pork chop. He then grabs the cat, and I'm going to say he grabs the cat really rough and injects the cat with poison, and Church dies again. He lifts the cat's head, and this looks like a real cat, and it looks very, very dead to me.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Oh, wow. He now ventures into the house and is attacked by Gage in a very Chucky Child's Play kind of way. And I take issue with this the same as I do in Child's Play. It's a small person. Kick it down the fucking hall. Don't wrestle on the floor with it. You can throw this child 40 foot.
Yeah, but you don't know what power the cemetery brings, man.
Are you saying this is like Gage is like a mini Hulk?
Now that would be cool.
That'd be really cool.
I like this though, because I like it sort of like interjected with scenes sort of similar to what you get in Child's Play, where you can see where it breaks from actor to
child doll legs with someone with sticks making them wiggle.
Yeah, it's really, really funny. And it's dated terribly as well.
It is really badly dated. He eventually fights Gage off and he injects Gage with poison in his neck. Gage line here, whoever decided this was going to be his line, fuck it, I die of laughter every time. He's like, no fair. That's not fair.
Even before that, though, you get that like childish cry and scream. And it's just horrible.
That's horrible. But the bit where he kind of like, he pulls the needle out and Gage looks at him and goes, no fair. That's no fair. It's like, oh.
And again, right, I know you're just going to turn around and tell me that it's cocaine, but why is Judd's house now covered in like green spores and
I genuinely don't know.
like it's been taken over by some sort of virus.
Like a demonic type force. I don't know if that's what's come from the cemetery.
Yeah,
It's really
like something
odd.
from fucking H.G. Wells sort of otherworldly entity has taken over the house and everything's like decrepit and there's like vines growing up the walls and stuff. It's weird, man.
Yeah, and there's a bit where Lewis kind of shakes his head and then snaps out of it and the house is normal again. It's very, very odd.
Yeah, strange. Really jarring, really unexpected. I don't quite get the message behind this section.
No. Lewis burns down the house and, to my amazement, takes Rachel to the pet cemetery, stating he left it too long last time, which is why it didn't work.
But this is good logic. I like his thinking behind this. This makes perfect sense.
Well,
Gage has been dead for like, a week?
Yeah.
Cemetery based and funeral based and all the rest of it. Whereas Rachel has literally just died there and then. So his logic is if I get her there quick enough, she may still retain herself.
Well, firstly, he's been told what went wrong with... He knows what went wrong with Spot. He knows what went wrong with the other guy. He knows what went wrong with his own cat and his son. Secondly, Rachel is the bitch of all bitches.
I said earlier on I would have saved Judd, to be honest with you.
Judd coming back as evil Judd would have been awesome.
Just Judd, zombie Judd. Have a beer with zombie Judd would still be amazing. It would still be much better company than Rachel.
And zombie Judd would be full on Herman Munster.
Yeah, exactly. You have the opportunity to have a beer with Herman Munster or your bitch wife.
Yeah. We see Lewis playing solitaire as he waits for Rachel to come home. As she does, and like her eyes falling out and she's all pussy and it's...
Would you?
No.
Would you?
No, it's like they have.
Come on, man. Would you?
No, they have this kiss and like the pus is running down her face and like into his mouth. It's like, ugh.
It's rank.
And then she stabs him. And honestly,
well, we don't know. Well, we kind of do.
Yeah, Lewis got what he deserved. He's stupid. He got what he deserved here.
But again, this ending annoys me so much. It's like, oh yes, now it's interesting because there's nobody to take her out. So we get to see how long she has a lifespan and what does she do with that time? She has no family now. She has no commitments to go and seek after anybody. Is this Night of the Living Dead?
Maybe. Maybe this is a prequel.
Which would work perfectly. That would be so cool if this is how it all started.
Our roundups are inbound, but let's find out what you all thought.
It's time for Hot Takes.
Chainsaw Chicken Barbecue. If it weren't for Ed, Gwen, and the Ramones, it'd be entirely forgettable.
I disagree with that.
I kind of do. I get where he's going with it, though. They're an awesome horror creator, by the way. Adam Willow, 88. King and his daddy issues creating yet more stories to haunt the nightmare of loving fathers. That's spot on. And they're a horror fan account. Ross's Awesome Sauce. I personally liked it, the sequel as well. Ross is the guy who played the dad in Skinamarink, for anyone who's seen that.
Nobody's seen that.
I've seen Skinamarink. We got Lady Crisis, the movie that made me fall in love with the horror genre. Pascal and Zelda have stuck with me for all these years. Skellington fan, still to this day the only horror movie that actually scares me. Nightmare on Woodsbury Lake. Sometimes you just need to leave it buried.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone who took part this week. We had loads, and I struggled to pick them. If you weren't picked this week, keep playing, because eventually you will get picked and you will get on, whether it's hot takes or 3-word reviews.
Hey, Scoob, it's time for facts, bro.
So, in the book, Judd mentions that the dog went wild in a town nearby and killed several people. This is a reference to Cujo. Now, Steve...
That would be cool. You have a Cujo origin story.
So Stephen King often mentions other books, his other works in other books. So he'll mention The Dark Tower in it, and he'll mention Cujo in this, and he does that a lot. And if you read a lot of King work, you'll get to a point where you're like, they all exist in the same place. They're all part of the same universe. It's really cool if you read a lot of his stuff. Stephen King was present for most days of shooting, and the area was shot less than 10 minutes from his home in Bangor, Maine, which he insisted on for them to get the rights to it.
That's cool.
When they first arrive at the new house, Gage is next to the car trunk, looking at the cat.
Yep.
If you look at the bottom right-hand corner, you can see someone shaking a box of cat treats to get the cat to look at Gage.
That's awesome.
Stephen King is a huge fan of the Ramones, and he referenced some of their songs in the novel, Pet Sematary, in the book. The Ramones performed and wrote the theme song, Pet Sematary, which was in the closing credits. The truck driver who runs over Gage is also listening to Sheena is a Punk Rocker by the Ramones.
Oh, of course he is. I'd never noticed that before.
Do you like the actor who plays Lewis?
Yes.
Would you rather it was Bruce Campbell?
No.
That was their first choice.
I'm sorry, Heather. I don't really like Bruce Campbell as an actor.
Oh, my God.
He's just got that thing, hasn't he? He's just so typecast as being like the guy. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, he's just that guy now. So, like, whatever he's in, it's just, it's Bruce Campbell, the silly guy.
So I'm going to brush over it. That you get so much hate for that.
I know, I'm sorry.
This movie is directed by Mary Lambert, but it wasn't meant to be. This was going to be directed by George A. Romero, but filming was delayed and he dropped out and directed Monkey Shines instead.
Oh, he should have definitely gone to this.
Oh, Romero doing this would have been awesome.
Yeah, really cool. This would have been an entirely different film.
Yeah. The idea for this come from, obviously from Stephen King, but when his daughter's cat died, the cat was called Smucky, and it was killed on the highway outside their home. Smucky's name appears on the gravestones in Pet Sematary in the film and also in the book.
Oh, nice. That's a nice subtle touch.
So I said earlier that it looked like a real cat that was dead when he kills Church.
Was it?
When Church is killed for the second time, the needle is rigged to look like it's actually sticking into him, but it's not. The cat was sedated by a vet, and they had a representative of the American Humane Society present to ensure the cat made a full recovery. It was a real cat that they knocked out.
I don't mean to laugh at that. That's not appropriate.
It's like, wow. Shall we play a game?
Yes, let's play. I feel like we haven't played games in ages.
We haven't played games in ages. So we're going to play a game. It's a new game, and I have no idea how this is going to go. It's called It Was King. Now, I'm going to tell you some things that people have done while heavily out of their mind on cocaine, drink, and various other drugs. And all you need to do is tell me, was it Stephen King or was it someone else?
All right, okay.
So, woke up in bed with a child's mitten next to them.
Philip Schofield.
No. Do you think that's Stephen King or is that someone else?
Stephen King.
No, that is actually Robin Williams. It was actually the glove of a waitress who helped him to his room, and she had very small hands. It was not a child's mitten.
Oh, well, that's a misleading question then, really, isn't it?
He described it when he's talking about his cocaine addiction, saying there was one morning he woke up and saw a child's mitten next to him and had an absolute meltdown of like, fuck, what did I actually do?
That's bad.
That's really bad. Wrote a novel with cotton buds stuck up his nose to stop the bleeding, profuse bleeding from too much cocaine use.
King.
That is Stephen King. Caused a member of cast, a director of photography, to actually lose an eye.
King.
That is Stephen King. So when they done Maximum Overdrive, they had a lawnmower that goes wild all on its own, and it mows over some wood and some other shit. Stephen King kicked off that he didn't want the blades taken out because it would take away from the shot, and it chipped up a bit of wood, which went in the director of photography's eye, and he sued Stephen King for $18 million.
Oh, that's expensive.
Very expensive. Smoked weed with peyote in it, and then later held naked at the moon.
Stephen King.
That's Miley Cyrus. Done cocaine with Mike Tyson in a bathroom for 7 hours.
Stephen King.
That's Steve-O. We got a couple more. Snorted cocaine off a table in a New York nightclub, went home with a stranger, and done all of this by completely unseen by the paparazzi.
Stephen King.
That's Gwyneth Paltrow.
All of these sound like they are Stephen King.
Last one. Lost 10 years of memory.
Stephen King.
That is Stephen King. He can hardly remember anything from 1977 to 1987, which was the height of his cocaine abuse. He states he can't remember writing Cujo at all, none of it. And the whole period is just a haze to him. He gets like flashbacks and snippets. This decade also contains these movies, these books: The Shining, Children of the Corn, The Stand, Night Shift, The Dead Zone, The Mist, Firestarter, Cujo, The Running Man, The Dark Tower, Creepshow, Christine, Pet Sematary, Thinner, It, Tommy Knockers, and Misery.
All of his best work. Somebody give Stephen King some cocaine.
It's like when I read it, I was like, yeah, you done
work
good work.
best on cocaine, then, do you?
Basically, that's our game. Would you like to do the roundup on this first, or would you want me to take the lead?
I'll go first because you are always a lot more professional than I am in these. I just ramble shit for about 5 seconds. Pet Sematary is filled with a plethora of problems and plot holes and issues and questions. The acting isn't the best. The cinematography and direction, although passable, isn't necessarily the best either. I'm going to keep this short and sweet because I really love this film, and it's a massive nostalgia hit for me. I remember growing up watching this film and still enjoy it regularly when I go back for a visit to this day. It's not perfect, but again, I always rank my scores based on my own personal enjoyment for what I've seen and whether I will revisit it and whether I enjoy my time sitting and watching it regardless of its faults. So for me, I think Pet Sematary is a 5 out of 5, wildly over scored, I know. But again, I'm not a critic, I'm not a professional. These are based on my enjoyments of films, and I enjoy this film to no end every time I go back to it, regardless of its flaws and its issues. It's a really, really, really good time. Even just to sit and watch Judd Crandall talk shit. He reminds me of Uncle Albert from Only Fools and Horses every time I watch it. And I love it. I love it. He makes me happy every time he's on screen. There's some great practical effects. Oh, one thing, while I'm on a rant, when Lewis takes Gage to the Temple of Doom and he sees that face coming out of the rocks, is that Judd Crandall or is that his wife's dad?
I think it's Judd.
Is it? Because you can't really tell. And I don't think you...
I think it's Judd. I left it out because I wasn't sure. I've always been under the
assumption it was Judd. But
then
on this latest rewatch, I was like, oh, actually, that kind of looks a little bit like her dad.
Someone let us know.
Yeah, that would be interesting to know who that's actually meant to be. So please let us know on that. But yeah, again, it's a 5 out of 5. And I know that I'm probably on an island with that score, but I really, really like this film. I think it's a classic. Probably one of the best adaptations of King's works. I know we've got great stuff like It. I thought this list was going to be longer, but I like it. I like it a lot. It's a really good time. So yeah, 5 out of 5 for me. Check it out if you haven't seen Pet Sematary. Enjoy it. Take it with a pinch of salt, and that's all I can really say about it, to be honest.
Okay. Pet Sematary holds some nostalgia for me, but I hate to say it, on this rewatch, I was checking my watch every 5 minutes.
Oh,
I
wow.
really was. Practical effects are great. The story's horrible, especially if you're a parent. I find this and the book to be quite disjointed, and I know that's because of Stephen King's extracurricular activities. You could condense this down into an hour and 20 minutes and not lose any of the highlights or plot points of the story. It's genuinely scary, but it's scary more with the concepts that it discusses as opposed to the delivery. After watching this, I decided I would give the remake another try.
Oh, no, don't do it.
Don't
be that guy.
The remake is still utter shit. This is still better.
That's all right. I thought you were going to go down a different road with that then.
No, I watched this. I was like, was the remake that bad? And then I watched it, got 20 minutes and went, the remake was that bad.
Yeah, it definitely is that bad.
I'm rambling here, maybe because I feel what I'm about to do is going to get me some negative feedback, as if I haven't caused enough on this episode with cat hate and women driver comments. And this movie is dull for 70% of the movie. It has some incredible elements and some fabulous concepts and some awesome set pieces, but so does Sharknado.
Which is also a 5 out of 5.
It's an average 80s King adaptation, and in my opinion, far from being his best. It's middle of the road. It's a 5 out of 10 for me.
That's lower than I expected from you as well.
This is kind of just like average for me. It's nothing in this makes me go, wow.
No, but again, it did in the day.
Yeah, but not on this
and
watch.
I think you kind of have to give it credit for that alone. Surely this is a 7. Up your score, man. I don't like to be that guy that makes you do things. But
no,
please.
I'm going to stick with it. I scored it the same as you. It got 2 5s. Just
2
one
5.
of them. Yeah, you got a 5 from you and a 5 from me. Just mine's out of 10. It's free on Paramount Plus in the UK, and it's available to rent everywhere else. It's not free in the US. You need to pay for it. Guess the year. Last week was 1987, and this week the movie quote is,
I don't see anything I don't like about you.
Thanks.
But you will. And I'll get bored and you'll feel trapped, because that's what happens with me.
Okay. I recognise it. I thought you were complimenting me at first, but obviously not.
You know I would never be that nice about you.
The movie from this year is Troy with Brad Pitt.
Fantastic film.
Yeah. Yeah. You will not be a great man. People will not remember you because you're a pussy and you don't.
No, that's my bit. Stop.
Yeah.
Stop stealing my bits.
And the song is Lean Back by Fat Joe, not Fat Ho. Not Fat Ho, as I put in my notes.
Banger.
We are back next week with Creepshow from 1982, which I am sure I've seen, but I may not have, because all of the Creepshows merge into one.
Yeah, I'm with you. I know I've definitely seen Creepshow, and I know segments from Creepshow, but I'm also at a point in my life where I can't distinguish Creepshow 1 and 2's different segments.
No, I definitely can't. Thank you so much for listening and continuing to support the show. Remember, the best way you can do this is by giving us a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify. You can get involved by following us at You Run Podcast everywhere, or if you want to go and stalk Mark because he's not had a stalker for ages, it's at MW_horror_reviews or at MW_horror_VHS on Instagram and TikTok. If you're feeling flush and would like to support the show with your wallet, you can do that by visiting our shop at yourunpodcast.com. Just to keep you all in the loop, we are no longer partnered with Dubby Energy. So, yeah, there's no ill will here. I had some feedback from a decent chunk of our audience that said it did not fit with the show and they found it distracting. And that was enough for me to say, okay, this is the You Run podcast. You didn't want it, so we're no longer their partner.
All right, that's interesting. I never tried it personally. I don't drink stuff like that. So
I did. I still buy their product. It is still very good, but we're no longer partnered with them because you lot said no. So if you are a t-shirt creator, if you've got something to sell that sits in the horror niche and you want to sponsor the show, get in touch. Anyway, until next time, stay safe, go out and fuck somebody, but wear a damn rubber because everyone's got damn herpes these days.
Oh, dude.
That's a quote from Creepshow.
I know where you're going with it. I just didn't realise this was going to be a thing every week now.
I didn't know if it was, but I quite like it.
I'm not sure I do. Can we put a poll out for this?
Yeah, we'll put a poll out after this episode. Should I do a movie quote? People have said
because no matter what it's going to be, you're always going to find the weirdest thing to say at the end.
I don't think so.
You do. You find it. You will find it.
Yeah, what can I do for the Jaws versus Deep Blue Sea episode? I could do some real cool stuff with that. I'm sure I could merge two lines and make them coherent from those two movies.
Like you said, this is a Euron podcast, so please let's get this cancelled before the next episode goes out.
Let's cancel it. Let's shut this shit down before it goes any further.
Yes, please. Let's hashtag that immediately.
Hashtag shut this shit down.
No, let's just hashtag stop Scott.
Don't, because the last time you suggested a hashtag, it was save H4.
Oh, that was a movement.
Yeah, don't.
Let's go with it. Hashtag stop Scott. Let's see how far we can get this one going.
We'll catch you all next week.
Cheers, guys. See you next week.
Before we forget, you want to die tonight?
The cheaper, nastier, the better for me.
Would you have stayed after this?
Sorry, man. I was completely off guard there.
He's in his coffin. He's the undead.
This was the best bit of the film.
This is not the last time someone's going to steal your man.
Yeah, Mark's not a nice guy.
You didn't notice this scene. It looks like he's got an extra leg.
Yeah, I've got nothing. I've literally got nothing here. Surely that'd be even worse. The more listeners we have, the worse that's going to be.
Yeah, but I will just get a new phone.
Oh, I tell a lie, actually. Yeah, because we used to have teletext.
Art the Clown makes Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees look like pussies.
I can only assume that this was due to budgetary reasons and they couldn't afford enough extras.
Are you going to have Buster Rhymes in your list of characters?
Mate, I can't believe you don't know Idle Hands.
I'm going to ram my foot down his fucking throat. It was awesome.
It fucking wasn't awesome.